Chairman Issa, Ranking Member Johnson, distinguished members of the subcommittee, thank you for the chance to testify on this important topic. My name is Chris Callison-Burch. I'm a professor at the University of Pennsylvania, a visiting researcher at the Allen Institute for Artificial Intelligence, and the deputy chair of the Board of Advisors of the Johns Hopkins University Human Language Technology Center of Excellence. Generative AI had its breakthrough moment in November of last year with the release of OpenAI's ChatGPT. This brought my field of research into the public eye and generated a huge amount of enthusiasm. I had access to OpenAI's large language models about a year and a half before the public. Despite having worked in this field for over 20 years, I was shocked by its capabilities. My first encounter with it pitched me into a career existential crisis. The technology had seemingly solved many of the problems that I was researching. It could translate texts from Russian into English. It could write coherent summaries of long documents and then answer questions about them. I wondered whether there was any room left for academic research in light of the fact that these large language models require Google-sized data centers to train. So I asked myself, should I just drop out of computer science and become a poet? But of course, the next week, I downloaded 15,000 poems from the internet and trained the system to write much better poetry than I ever could. I've subsequently calmed down, and I do not think that my job is at imminent risk of being replaced by ChatGPT, but I understand that many other people are experiencing the same sense of panic that I had. Artists and writers are worried about their work being devalued. I worry that careers like a paralegal might go the way of a lamplighter. I think that at its core, what we're talking about today goes far beyond copyright. It's about the value of work. This is a truly transformative technology that will shape many aspects of our lives. I hope that it is for the better. I optimistically believe that AI will enable us to be more productive workers and to allow more people to realize their creative visions. In my testimony today, I hope to offer my expertise in the technical aspect of generative AI, and I promise to explain it in a way that doesn't require a PhD in computer science. Answers to any questions that you have about the potential for legislation impacting on innovation in this field, and advocacy for retaining fair use for the purposes of training generative AI systems. In my written testimony, I provided an overview of how these systems work. I'm happy to explain during the hearing today how they do, or to have one-on-one meetings with you or your staff at a later date. To briefly summarize the points that I want to highlight from my written testimony, generative AI is trained on huge amounts of data. Large language models are now trained on roughly 1 trillion words. Image generators are trained on hundreds of millions of images. Much, or even most, of that data consists of copyrighted works that have been gathered by automatically crawling the web. It's important to remember that from these copyrighted works, AI systems learn. This learning process is called pre-training, which is the P in GPT. Pre-training AI systems is different than how we teach our children to learn, but the effect is similar. AI systems learn how to use language. They learn facts about the world. They learn ideas and opinions. They learn visual concepts. They even learn some rudimentary common sense reasoning skills. This pre-training happens on copyrighted data, which is then set aside as models are fine-tuned to perform more specific tasks. For instance, a large language model can be fine-tuned on a much smaller, purpose-built set of data in order to become an intelligent tutor, or a computer vision system can be fine-tuned in order to detect cancerous growths in mammograms. These systems could not be as easily adapted to these specialized tasks without the general knowledge that they acquire from the copyrighted data that they're pre-trained on. I believe, like Sai, that pre-training these systems squarely falls within fair use, and that internet-era court precedents likely establish that this is the case, although, as the ranking member mentioned, this is currently being litigated in the courts. I do believe that the output of generative AI systems can infringe on copyright, and it's worth Congress considering legislation to better shape copyright to govern things like copyrightable characters, and possibly to extend copyright to cover things like right of publicity. I look forward to discussing this topic with you today.